This one episode almost got the show canceled forever. Yep, Boy Meets World, the wholesome 90s sitcom we all grew up with, had an episode so controversial, so out of character for its feel-good reputation, that Disney refused to air it when they picked up the show. But it wasn't just one episode. It turned out there were three. And trust me, the reasons behind these bans will seriously make you question what flew on network TV back in the day. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you love digging into the secrets, scandals, and untold stories of classic TV, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss an upload. Now, the idea of a TV episode being banned immediately sparks curiosity, especially when it's from a show like Boy Meets World, which aired on ABC's family-friendly TGIF block and later found a new home on the squeaky clean Disney Channel. But when Disney started syndicating the show, they quietly pulled 3 episodes off the air. Episodes that were originally broadcast without issue on ABC. Episode 1, If You Can't Be With the One You Love. Let's start with the first and probably the most intense. Season 5, Episode 18, If You Can't Be With the One You Love. In this episode, Corey's heartbroken after a fight with Topanga, and in a rare moment for the show, he steals a bottle of whiskey from his dad and starts drinking at a party. While Corey comes to his senses quickly, his best friend Sean doesn't. Sean spirals fast, becoming aggressive, especially towards his girlfriend Angela. It's a heavy episode about underage drinking and addiction, and Ryder Strong, who played Sean, later admitted on the Pod Meets World podcast that filming it was miserable. He criticized how unrealistically the episode handled alcoholism, suggesting Sean became a sloppy alcoholic in the span of a couple of scenes. Disney, being extra cautious about family content, banned this episode during syndication. Even though it was meant as a cautionary tale, the portrayal was deemed too intense. Episode 2, Prom Ices. Next up, Season 5, Episode 22, Prom Ices. This one tackled teenage sexuality. Corey and Topanga, back together and in love, decide to book a hotel room on prom night. It's handled with comedy. Corey's parents end up at the same hotel, and in the end, they choose not to have sex. But despite the tame outcome, Disney banned this episode too. Why? Because it directly implied premarital sex. What's even more interesting is Ryder Strong once again voiced concerns about this episode. He felt it was irresponsible not to mention safe sex or contraception when the characters were clearly considering it. Danielle Fishel, who played Topanga, admitted the episode made the cast feel icky during filming because of how it glossed over serious teenage issues. Episode 3, The Truth About Honesty. And then there's Season 6, Episode 20, The Truth About Honesty. Here, Corey and Topanga decide to be completely honest with each other, which leads to awkward conversations about their relationship and physical intimacy. Sean and Angela also discuss casual sex. Again, the episode avoids graphic details, focusing more on open communication in relationships, but just the fact that it mentioned casual sex was enough for Disney to pull it from syndication. The cast later admitted this episode, too, felt uncomfortable because it dodged any discussion of safe, responsible choices. Why Disney banned them? So why did Disney, a network famous for its family-friendly content, ban these episodes while ABC was fine airing them? It comes down to brand image. Disney Channel steered clear of mature themes like underage drinking and teenage sex. These episodes clashed with their wholesome image, especially in the late 90s and early 2000s. But here's the twist. All 3 banned episodes are now streaming on Disney Plus today. Yep, the very platform that refused to air them now makes them available for anyone to watch. Times have definitely changed. And it wasn't just viewers who were uncomfortable. The Boy Meets World cast members, through their podcast Pod Meets World, opened up about their own issues filming these episodes. Ryder Strong, in particular, was vocal about how the show mishandled serious topics like alcoholism and teenage sex, often leaning on cliches and awkward humor instead of honest, helpful conversations. And Boy Meets World isn't alone. This kind of behind-the-scenes drama about what networks allow and what they bury isn't new. From episodes of Saved by the Bell that touched on drug use to a notorious Full House episode about peer pressure that mysteriously disappeared from syndication, networks have always quietly edited their shows for reruns. It reflects shifting standards. What was barely acceptable in the 90s might get pulled in the 2000s, only to resurface unedited in today's streaming world. Interestingly, many of those so-called too controversial episodes are now fan favorites. Nostalgic viewers appreciate how these shows weren't afraid to touch on serious topics, even if the execution wasn't always perfect. It highlights how audience expectations evolve, and what was once considered off-limits is now viewed as refreshingly honest. Despite these controversies, Boy Meets World remains one of the most beloved coming-of-age sitcoms ever made. Its willingness to tackle issues like abuse, divorce, death, and yes, even drinking and sex, is a big reason it still resonates with audiences decades later. It balanced comedy with real emotion, and while it occasionally stumbled, it did something most shows of its time wouldn't dare try. The fact that Disney Plus now hosts these once-banned episodes says a lot about how media consumption has changed. Audiences today are more comfortable discussing mental health, addiction, and relationships openly. And platforms like Disney Plus and Netflix often include disclaimers before older content, acknowledging sensitive themes rather than erasing them entirely. It's a fascinating reflection of how pop culture, censorship, and audience expectations evolve, and how shows like Boy Meets World unintentionally helped pave the way. What's even more fascinating is how today's sitcoms and teen dramas are pushing boundaries that would have been unimaginable for network TV in the 90s. Shows like Euphoria, 13 Reasons Why, and Riverdale tackle addiction, abuse, and sexuality head-on. Sometimes controversially, but always unflinchingly. It makes you realize just how sanitized older shows were in comparison, and how creators today have more freedom to explore complicated issues without fearing network backlash. It also highlights how streaming services have changed the rules of engagement. Interestingly, this revival of interest in old, banned, or censored episodes speaks to the power of nostalgia. Many of us love revisiting the shows we grew up with, not just for comfort, but to rediscover moments that were quietly erased from memory. It's like unearthing lost artifacts of pop culture history. And when those long-forgotten episodes resurface, it lets us re-examine them through a modern lens, often giving us new appreciation for what these shows were trying to say. So, there you have it. The real story behind the banned Boy Meets World episodes, the backstage drama, how they compare to other 90s sitcom controversies, and why even the cast felt uneasy about them. If you grew up watching this show, it's wild to look back and realize how close it came to getting itself canceled over these plotlines. If you found this breakdown fascinating, smash that like button, drop a comment with your favorite Boy Meets World moment, or any other 90s TV controversy you remember. And don't forget to subscribe for more TV nostalgia, scandals, and behind-the-scenes stories. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.